I'm Kat.
I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy, the podcast where two teachers unwind, sip wine, and each teach a lesson we can't teach at school. What are we drinking, Hayley?
We are drinking water. And in addition to water, we're drinking some hard seltzers that were given to us by a Night Classy listener, Robert, here in Memphis.
Yes. Thank you, Robert. He was such a gem. He wanted to donate school supplies to us, so I met up with him, and he even threw in some sparkling hard seltzers. So we thank you for that.
Alcohol is an essential school supply.
That's true. If you're gonna give us school supplies,
you know what we really
need
to do. Yeah. Yes, our Amazon wish list may have toys and paper and rulers on it, but you know what we need.
Can you buy alcohol on Amazon?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've never tried.
Yeah, me either. But speaking of that, thank you so much to everyone who donated school supplies to us.
Oh my gosh, I know. I have some thank you letters to write.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much. You already support us so much just by listening to the podcast, but now it's really extending out to our students in our classrooms, and we're so grateful.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have school supplies, like classroom sets of like rulers and scissors and markers for every single student in my class. Like that will change the classroom. So like, thank you guys so much for everything.
Yeah, agreed. My classroom was the first of its kind, and my school started 2 years ago, and everything in it was borrowed. But now I have my own sets of insects and some of my own books and some of my own baby dolls for the classroom. So that's amazing. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. We are drinking White Claws, but I guess hard seltzers, whatever, same thing. But we're already a little bit lit because we just recorded with our friend Jawa.
Yes. So for our Patreon episode, Jawa Horn, a comedian here in Memphis, he's way more than a comedian though. He came in and taught us about being a parent. It was very conversational. It was very fun and also very insightful. That'll be on our Patreon this month for July. You should definitely take a listen. I know I learned a lot. We laughed a lot. We got deep. There was red wine.
Yeah, we got drunk. What did he say at the end? He was like, "Oh, I'm feeling like the wine," and then he like was trying to think of Joe Biden's name, and he called him George Biden. And it was really fun. And he's a comedian here in Memphis, and just a great storyteller and a funny guy. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, we enjoyed having you on, Jawa. You all can check him out on social media. I believe his handle is just Jawa, Jowa Horn. And if you'd like to hear the lesson, all you have to do is join our Patreon starting at just $1. That's not the only thing you'll find on our Patreon, though. Of course, we have a guest on every single month so that we can be the students and they teach us a lesson.
Yes.
We've learned about a lot of things, and we want you all to continue learning with us with that extra content. So head on over to Patreon starting at $1. But if you decide to join at a higher level, there are other perks, such as getting free stuff like stickers and getting to pick a lesson topic. So head on over there, check it out, and yeah, I don't have anything else. I should not have kept talking.
No, that was a great commercial, Hayley.
Thank you.
And speaking of it, we are really just like on our ball today doing all of our mentions. But speaking of Patreon, I want to shout out Gregory Hall of Memphis, Tennessee for joining our Patreon.
Bow, bow, bow.
Bow, bow, bow. Thank you. It's always so fun to have a Memphis person on there.
I know it is. I'm like, every time I go out, I'm like, am I going to get recognized?
I went
no,
and
not really.
when I met up with Robert, I don't know, to get the school supplies, I was literally like shaking going up there to meet him. I don't know why. I just like felt really nervous for some reason. And I just don't like, I'm scared to meet new people just in general. Like it was my social anxiety, but I was like, I'm meeting this random person. Like, I don't know how he's going to be. His Instagram is on private. Like, I don't know who this person is. And I was nervous, and I went up and like we talked and he was totally cool and nice and awesome. And he was like, I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity. Like you guys are on Spotify. Like, oh my God, don't say that because I'm the one who's nervous to meet you.
Yeah, the tables are turned.
Severely.
That's funny. You should have asked me to go with you or something.
Well, it wasn't like that bad. Like I can do things by myself. But like,
I know, but
something about it, like I just felt pressure. I don't know why.
like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go meet a fan, a listener.
Yeah.
I feel weird calling people who listen to Night Classy fans.
He's a listener, but like it was just and like I told Alec, I'm like, oh yeah, someone like DM'd us and wants to like give us stuff. Like I'm gonna go meet up with him. And Alec was like, be careful. Like you don't know who this person is. I was like, it's fine. And then I was driving there and I was like, wait, what if he's a murderer?
Yeah, everyone's a murderer until they're not, to me.
That's true. And for all we know, he could still be a murderer.
That's true. So look out for Robert, who gives teachers school supplies and alcohol.
Yeah. What if these White Claws are poison?
Too late.
Yeah, it's
Did
too
you already
late.
start yours?
This is actually a true White Claw in my hand because I drank my seltzer from him like during a recording with Jawa.
Right, so we would have known. Okay, yeah, so it's fine. So he's not murdering us.
Yeah, not yet anyway. There was something else I ate from that showed up in the mail from someone.
What? You ate something that showed up in the mail from someone?
Yeah, I forget. Oh, what was it?
Like a Night Classy person?
I don't remember. Something happened where I was eating something that came from somebody and I was like, this could be poison. And I ate it anyway. Why can't I remember what it was? I'm literally drunk, you guys. Like we drank with Jawa for 2 hours while he recorded, and then we went and got drinks across the street. And
we sat outside. The heat just
oh my
hit
God.
me.
It was like 100
like,
degrees.
Are you good? Your personality just like shifted. I was like, I'm fine. I'm just really hot. I'm wearing this like fake leather skirt that just traps everything.
I forgot you were
Oh,
wearing a leather
shit.
skirt. Oh,
Yeah,
my
I know.
Lord.
It was a mistake sitting outside, but
I thought I was having a hard time in like my tight like bodycon dress, but leather.
we're all having a hard time is what we're saying.
And Alex over there in his leather bodycon dress, like he must be really
I
miserable.
know, just
I'm
dying
gonna get this
out
ball
here.
gag out of my mouth.
I have something to bring up. So I did a lesson on the Mandela effect, and I saw a new thing with the Mandela effect this week. Okay, so if you picture Britney Spears in her "Oops, I Did It Again" video, do you know what outfit I'm talking about?
Like the schoolgirl outfit.
Red jumpsuit.
The red jumpsuit.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Do you remember anything else about that outfit?
It was red and leather, and she had her hair in like a bouffant.
Zipper up the front.
No zipper up the front. Do you remember her having a microphone like attached to the
like a pop
headset?
star microphone?
Yeah.
I guess now that you say that, I wasn't thinking about it in my head.
Okay, well, that's like one of the things. If you look up costumes for that, they have that. There are Barbie dolls that have that. But now, if you look up the video, it never existed.
Did she do a live performance where she was wearing a headset?
It's not even in her live performances anymore. It was in that music video. And there's even a spot where she reaches for the microphone and it isn't there anymore.
That's weird.
But if you look up the Barbie dolls that are that outfit, they have the microphone. And a lot of people remember having that, like, it's just a little microphone attached to the headset that has a little ball at the end of it.
I mean, to be clear, she did have that microphone for most of her career, whether or not it's in that one video.
But it would be weird for the costumes and the Barbie dolls designed after it to have it.
But I feel like
in
it
the
was
music
such
video.
a thing like for pop stars in that time. Like, do you remember Libby Lou? Did you ever do like a birthday party there?
Yeah.
It was like, if you're listening and you don't know what that is, it was like a beauty parlor for children, and you'd go in there and they'd give you a makeover. You'd have like birthday parties there, and there was like a pop star makeover, and they'd give you like a fake plastic little like headset like that.
Because of Britney.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy. But like when I was picturing it, I didn't picture that.
Oh my gosh, I vividly remember it. And it's been blowing up on the internet this week because
Weird.
other people do. And I think it's so weird that the Barbie would have it and the costumes that people made handmade would have it.
But it could have been like, this is something that's recognizable with Britney. Let's just put it on the Barbie.
It maybe, but in addition to people remembering it, and then in the video you can see her reaching for something right there in her face in the music video.
That
and
is
it's not
weird.
there.
That is weird.
I'll send you the TikTok
Okay.
that I saw it on. And then I looked into it more. I was like, that is weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
It is weird, but that's my thing this week. That's the most eventful thing that happened to me was that I saw a TikTok.
Yeah, the most eventful thing that happened to me this week was that I started work yesterday and we were supposed to record yesterday, but like 12 o'clock noon rolled around and I was at work and I was like, I've never been this tired in my life. And so I had to cancel our recording and Hayley and Alec graciously accommodated me.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I started work. It was great. I had a great day. I'm glad, but like, my body was not ready to get up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, doing things after not doing things for our 6-week summer is hard.
Very hard. And I think it's only been 4 weeks.
Oh.
So you might have a 6-week summer. I'm
Yeah, I'm
happy
gonna
for
have a
you,
6-week
but
summer.
I don't. So I was not ready.
Wah, wah. That's what you get for not believing me with the Britney conspiracy.
I guess. I'm in a very cynical
Bitch.
mood right now. I'm drunk and tired, but I am ready to record this lesson. I'm excited.
All right. Well, should we get into it? Anything
I guess
else?
we shall. I don't have anything.
Neither.
Okay.
I bullet point 047.
And I bullet point 043.
Which seems impossible because I feel way more intoxicated than that. But
I think it's day drinking / the heat.
yeah, the heat, the sun being out,
Yeah.
whatever. Let's get into it. Okay. I fucking subscribed to the New York Times for this lesson to get the good tea.
Good for you. It's
Thank you.
expensive.
Yes. $4.
You want to put it on the night classy card?
We could do that. Yeah. $4 per month.
Yeah, let's
we can
do
get that
it.
Yeah.
good tea. We can share it. All right. So Anthony Todd was a physical therapist in Connecticut. He had his own practice and he split his time between 2 different buildings. He was doing really well for himself and his family. So when his wife was like, I'm tired of Connecticut, I want to move to Florida, it was no issue. They bought a house in Florida and his wife and the kids moved down and Anthony continued working in Connecticut.
Good for them. It's hard
Yeah.
to see other people live your dream.
Well,
Alec, you need to make more money so we can move to Florida on a whim.
yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Just make more money.
Done.
Anthony worked in Connecticut, though, during the week and then went to Florida on the weekends. Not everything is as it seems, though. Anthony was under federal investigation for Medicaid and insurance fraud. They suspected that he had been billing Medicaid and insurance for extra services that he didn't actually perform on patients.
See, Alec, that's all you have to do is commit insurance fraud.
Just do fraud.
Do fraud.
What
Easy
are the
enough.
odds?
Then we can move to Florida and be Florida men and Florida women.
Yeah. What are the odds when you commit frauds that you get thrown to the dogs?
Og committing frog for the dog.
Hey, there we go.
My last name is Og for the people out there that don't get that.
Well, the feds raided him in November 2019. He immediately confessed to, quote, adding stuff on in order to keep up with personal loans that he took out to keep up with living well above his means. Neither his wife or his employees knew about his fraudulent activity. So after telling the authorities that he would plead guilty, they were like, okay, we're going to let you go. Make sure you get an attorney, have them contact us, and we'll start this whole process. Days go by, weeks go by, eventually months go by. No attorney reaches out to the authorities in Connecticut.
I mean, why would you? I'm a Florida man now. I don't have to
Right.
reach out to authorities in Connecticut.
We all know that the authorities of different states don't talk to each other,
No.
especially not for small stuff like fraud.
No.
Anthony told his employees that he would be in Connecticut to treat the patients, but after he confessed to the fraud, he never returned to the office. The payments eventually stopped to his employees, and both offices mysteriously just closed down. Down in Florida, Anthony's wife and his children were just vibing, living life. In December, his wife had told an out-of-town family member that everyone had come down with the flu in the house and they were just trying to lay low and recover. But then after not hearing from the family over a course of several days of missed calls and unreturned texts, the family member called the police department in Florida and asked for them just to do a welfare check.
Oh, no.
So deputies show up, they check the house, check in with some neighbors. Nothing seemed out of sorts. All the blinds were closed. They didn't see anything wrong, so they left.
No. No.
Never leave. You're supposed to
Do something.
break in.
All you have to do is like wait
until someone gets home.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, they left.
Okay.
They sure did. Florida officials and the Connecticut officials never communicated on either case. So the officials in Florida didn't know that Anthony was suspected and wanted for insurance fraud.
Amen.
But when the federal agents finally did tell the county in Florida that he's wanted, they returned to the house on January 9th, 2020 to a very disturbing scene. Anthony had killed his wife, his 3 children, and their family dog. Investigators believe that the family was already dead when the authorities first made the welfare check back in December.
Probably.
Autopsy records showed extremely high rates of Benadryl in each of the victims' systems, as well as stab wounds. Stab wounds. She's
How many weeks along are you?
She's pregnant with 3 steak knives.
I call abortions stab wounds.
Oh my God.
Stab wounds are a right, not a privilege. Anthony initially confessed to the killings, but then blamed his wife once he was in custody. His trial is set for September of this year.
Blamed her how?
I don't know.
She asked you to stab her, sir?
Right, exactly.
Like-
Hold on. So I missed something. They found him?
He was there in the house. He had
What?
taken-
What?
Yes, he was there in the house. His son's body had started to mummify. Like they had been dead.
Wait. Where
He was in the house in
Was
Florida.
he just
But are they
going
like-
about his life?
Yes.
are they like?
Not
up-
going about his life. He was holed up in that house.
Are they upstairs and he's living
They
downstairs?
were all, if I remember correctly, they were all placed face down on his and his wife's bed. They were all like placed there together.
Oh my God.
And he was just living his
was
best
just in
life,
there.
giving himself pedicures, like watching
fuck
Netflix, eating popcorn. The fuck?
Yeah. He was just
Spraying
vibing.
Febreze, I'm sure.
He ordered the most Yankee candles.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
most Uber Eats. Like, how long
The
has
most
it been?
Uber Eats,
Like, you
yeah.
nothing left?
Yeah, he was taken to the hospital when they found him because he had taken a lot of Benadryl as well. So who knows, like, what the fuck was in his system or what he was doing.
My God. I bet he planned to
probably-
die by suicide, but, like, it couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's what they suspect. Yeah. So he's in jail now. He's being charged with first-degree homicide on 4 offenses, plus the animal cruelty for killing the dog.
I love that they threw that in.
Well, yeah, you can't forget the family dog. Like, he literally...
What kind of dog was it?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah.
I bet it was a golden retriever. I feel like family annihilators are the type that have golden retriever.
Always a golden retriever. That's what I pictured in my mind as well. I
Yeah.
was like, maybe one of the like ginger red golden retrievers.
Ooh.
That's what I was picturing.
Yeah. I'm picturing like a dopey yellow gold one.
Either one.
Like-
Probably a dopey, just really
They got that
basic
shit on
golden
sale.
retriever. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a really disturbing, sad event to happen anywhere. But there's an extra level of shock when you find out that it happened in a meticulously planned community
That's not shocking.
developed by the Walt Disney Company.
Oh no.
I introduce to you Celebration, Florida, the Disney town.
Are you doing Oh my God. I was wondering how this lesson could continue. Also, are you doing just Just because of our Florida fight on the last episode, you're like, I'm going to prove to you that Florida does suck.
No, but my next sentence is literally, this lesson combines the two things I like to poke fun at the most, Florida and Disney.
Yeah. And I'm not a Disney stan, but I might become one just so we can have another fight.
I won't even fight you. I'll just be like, you can't fight with an insane person. Like, if you're still a Disney stan after this, I'm going to be like, okay, you know, if you fight with the dumb person, you're the dumb one.
That's true. That's good advice.
True. Yep. There's a much more eloquent way. That's not the saying, but you know what I'm saying. All right. Well, let's go back to the beginning of this town called Celebration, Florida. Walt Disney, the guy, had always aspired to create his own community and outlined plans for something called the Florida Project in 1966. It would be a massive theme park with a town in the center. He would call it the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, or Epcot. Disney died later that year, and this Florida Project never went through.
I'm sorry. So the plan was there'd be people living inside a Disney park, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And they could just like go on the rides whenever they want.
I don't know the ins and outs. I mean, that'd probably be a draw of living there.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of draw, because imagine fucking living in Disney World.
No,
a nightmare.
You. Yeah, in the middle of the park, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
we will get to it later on, but there actually is a neighborhood that's in one of the Disney parks.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
That's fucked up. Who would do that?
Really fucking rich people. That's who.
But why? Like, imagine trying to get out. Imagine trying to go to the grocery store.
Yeah. A Disney fan is a really specific type of person that has standards for some things, but not others.
Like, honestly, that sounds like child abuse. Like, that your love of Disney is so far such that, like, you probably have to commute, like, 2 hours to get your kids to school because it's fucking Disney World.
Yeah, I have no idea. I did not get into the traffic patterns of the town, but we'll get to that. Let's focus on Epcot. The original plan for Epcot was for it to be in this park. We know Epcot now, it's a theme park, but it wasn't the initial plans that he wanted it as. It was essentially just this park was named in honor of the Florida Project. So that's what Epcot is now. But the Walt Disney Company resurrected the idea of having a Disney town in 1994. Essentially, they started buying up front companies and they acquired tens of thousands of acres of land incognito. Walt Disney is a man who's known for his desire for control, and this ripples throughout his company to this day. They persuaded local authorities to give them absolute power within this land, meaning that they could raise taxes, they were in charge of the roads and all public amenities. Essentially, they had created their own private Disney government. So to create this town, they hired these planners. They traveled to picturesque cities like Savannah, Charleston.
Or do you mean Charlotte?
Both fun. And New Orleans for inspiration. Not a single detail was overlooked. They borrowed everything from town squares, verandas, gables, front porches, but they only had 6 house styles that were approved. And you could only paint your house one of 5 pastel colors. So there was blue, pink, green, buff, and white.
I'm picturing Mud Island, the neighborhood we used to live in.
Essentially, yeah.
What's buff?
It's like gray, grayish brown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's even a limited number of plants that were allowed to be grown in your yard, like specific types of plants. And everything that had text on it in this town, any signage, storefronts, fountains, manholes, it was all specifically designed and created for Celebration, Florida.
Okay.
So they were bougie. It's been described as nearly spotless. Living there is constantly compared to The Truman Show and The Stepford Wives. All of this effort was to resemble a version of pre-war America that probably never really existed. Yeah. And if it did, it was for a very privileged few.
Yeah. And like it was terrible. Like it looks pretty, but good God.
Good God.
Good God.
So I'm going to read a quote verbatim from Celebration's sales brochure in 1996. Quote, "There was once a place where neighbors greeted neighbors in the quiet of summer twilight, where children chased fireflies and porch swings provided easy refuge from the cares of the day. The movie house showed cartoons on Saturday. The grocery store delivered. And there was one teacher who always knew you had something special. Remember that place?"
That place never, like,
It's like a fever dream.
yeah,
It's like
it's not real. It's a cartoon.
like, okay, picture white America in the 50s of like what people wanted
Yeah.
it and pictured it to be like.
The weird fetishization of like the 1950s white picket fence thing, it's just so strange to me. Like,
I know. It's essentially what people picture when they think of like MAGA stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like it didn't actually exist, but they,
and
fetishize over
and
it.
if it did, it existed to the privileged few and resisted like on the requirement of oppression for a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like why do we look wistfully at that?
Well, I don't have an answer to that, but I do know that this vision in Celebration, Florida was highly sought after for many, many people, especially at Disney stands. The Walt Disney Company ended up holding a lottery in 1995 for the opportunity to purchase the first 474 homes.
Imagine having those people as your neighbors.
God, no.
Like
And
all the Karens.
Yes, the people who live here are the people who have to have things a certain type of way. They're all Karens and Brads.
It would be a nightmare. Like my hell would be
I would never
Celebration
live there.
Village.
Yeah. So you don't have to hate all of Florida, but Celebration, Florida is a different story.
Yeah.
Whoever won this lottery that they held didn't win the house for free, but they got the chance to buy it first at over 25% of the market value. 5,000 people entered this contest.
How much were the houses?
They were starting. Okay, here's the thing. Celebration sold itself as the ideal American town. They really projected like this idea of wanting to have a diverse town, but it was so expensive to build the town that the houses were starting at $125,000 in the 90s. So that
That's
was
still not crazy.
I think that was a
Like, it's
lot for the
prob-
90s.
It sounds like it's probably around $300,000 to $400,000 today, which is not bad.
That would have been expensive in the 90s because they're probably
Really?
not
Yeah.
huge houses.
They weren't huge houses. What they wanted to do was have a mixture of apartments, condos, houses, and mansions.
Okay.
But they weren't able to do that because of the contractors that they got. They wanted the town to come up so fast and so quickly that when they hired these contractors, they just pushed them to get them up as quick as possible. And this was during a housing boom at the time. So there were a lot less skilled workers to actually get the job done. And it cost Disney so much money to get the contractors instead of doing it themselves, because they did have a team who could have done it, but not as quick as they would have wanted it. So it cost them a lot of money just to get the contractors, which meant they had to build more expensive homes for people to buy.
Okay.
Move into.
Interesting. And like they wanted this like perfect neighborhood. Like what was making it perfect? Did they do interviews with people before they moved in?
Oh my gosh, they did so much.
Okay.
So yes, it started out seeming great. It did start to go downhill. It's hard not to go downhill. I mean, they were dealing with segregation just because of the income gap between the upper class, which is typically white people, and they're in this county that is majority Latinx and Black people, but you have this pocket of white people and high incomes moving into this area. They had poor schools. The recession hit them really hard, and that murder, amongst other murders in the town. Okay. So they're trying to build this town really quickly. That led to really shoddy craftsmanship. There were electrical outlets that didn't work, leaky roofs, moldy walls within just months of people moving into these houses. And residents thought that since Disney was the one to build the town, that they would take care and fix everything. That was obviously not the case. residents band together in 1999 and hired an independent inspector for the houses. Over 70 of the roofs in the about 100 houses that had been constructed had to be replaced.
Oh, shit.
At that point in time. Yeah, that was just a couple years.
What did they expect? I'm sorry.
There are plenty of cookie cutter neighborhoods that pop up, but to have your entire roof replaced within 3 years of the house being built, that's pretty bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
But I just don't have sympathy for people stupid enough to buy into this. This
it's
just sounds
painted as
absurd.
this perfect town. It's like that town in Shrek, Sherlock. And then there's the school. Okay, as teachers, I'm sure we'll have plenty to say. Celebration School served kindergarten through 12th grade students. They opened in 1996. But by 1999, parents were lining up on registration day to pull their kids out. They had high hopes for the school. It was designed by education experts. They brought them in from Harvard, Auburn, Johns Hopkins University, and they plan on implementing all of these really progressive ideas, such as huge classrooms. The average classroom was 5,000 square feet.
What?
Because they served between 80 and 100 students.
What?
With 3 teachers in mixed ages, kindergarten through 5th grade.
No.
Oh, yeah.
With 3 teachers?
With 3 teachers. There were no grades so that students could receive, quote, authentic assessments that were individualized to them.
With 3 teachers.
With 3 teachers, yes. All taking care of this mixed bag of students.
I bet it was just like Lord of the Flies. You throw 100 kids in a room together of all grades and there's 3 adults.
Yeah, and kids could work at their own pace.
It would have been pandemonium.
Also, there's no curriculum.
Oh my God.
There's no standardized testing. Just projects and portfolios, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do that properly.
Exactly. There's no textbooks, just computers. Teachers were called learning leaders, and classrooms were called neighborhoods.
Oh, no.
After the first year, 6 out of 19 teachers quit, as well as the principal.
Yeah.
No shit,
Yeah.
right? I wouldn't have even signed on.
I mean, I feel like they probably sold it to them. I mean, here I am having sympathy for the teachers and not for the home buyers. I've never been a home buyer.
Right.
I guess we see
to be
how
relative.
easy it is to have empathy for
Right.
people you've shared the shoes with. But it was probably sold to them as this progressive, amazing, Montessori type, dream school.
Yeah,
but,
it was. And that's the thing. All of these methods are legit. They've been tested. They're awesome, but they've never been just all smushed together and implemented all at once.
This kind of thing would probably work if there was a 10-to-1 ratio of students to teachers.
Yeah.
But not 30 or 40 to 1.
It sounds like it was just a train wreck.
Yeah.
And then by the second year, the school population ballooned from 200 students to 800 students. So a ton of families ended up selling their houses and moving away so their kids didn't have to go to this school.
Wait, you said it ballooned from 200 to 800?
Yeah, the second year the school was open because more and more houses were being built.
Oh.
Yeah, so they didn't even have enough staff the second year.
And everyone had quit. How is this legal?
I have no idea. Probably because Disney created their own little government within this town.
God.
Education professionals warned them that the system would take years to run smoothly, but there was no time since the population had exploded from the first to the second year, and none of the methods worked the first year. Parents had no actual understanding of their child's progress without the grades and report cards, and some students couldn't and didn't even get into college because they didn't have any grades to show.
Yeah, obviously. What?
Like I said, a lot of families pulled their kids from these schools and sold their house to go to a different district. But for those who did stick around, things actually did get better. They were running smoothly. And then the year after things started going well, the school shut down. It was abandoned because Disney made a deal with the local school district that they would shut down and funnel all of their kids to the school district in exchange for Disneyland, which would save the school district millions of dollars.
Okay.
So that's great. Clearly, this place is perfectly designed by Disney, but the residents who live there are also the type of people who have to have those things just right. Like, looks are everything in Celebration, Florida. There are ordinances banning franchises and billboards. Past residents describe it as having lived in a bubble. And since it's so strongly tied to Disney, there are a lot of Disney lovers there and Disney employees. People who have lived there said that if you don't love Disney or have never been there, you're going to be bullied and you're going to be shamed.
I hate everyone who lives there. I'm sorry. I've never met them, but like, it's like you take the worst kind of, and like Disney is great. Like, fine. I don't care if you're a Disney adult, but like, I don't need a whole community of them.
Yeah, we don't need a whole town.
No.
As you can imagine, the homeowner association of this place is wild.
Oh my God, I can only imagine.
This one guy got fined for taking his Christmas lights down a day late, even though he explained to the committee that the only reason why he was a day late was because his flight back from their vacation got canceled and he had to catch a flight the next day to get home. And they were like, fuck you, guy. We don't care. Give us some more money.
Oh my God.
Because they have like a $2,000 surcharge for little extra things in the town every year that I'll get to. There's also a part on Celebration's website that's specifically designed for people to go to be reassured that the rules in the town aren't that restrictive. I don't know how reassuring it can be since they have a 166-page community charter. Yeah, they got rules. One time, the people of Celebration even petitioned to get a milkman to deliver glass bottles of milk to their doorsteps. So, yeah, these are definitely the type of people who want to go back to the 1950s.
Hey, nothing wrong with a good milkman. My parents have a milkman.
They do?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I mean, where my parents live is basically this, but like not as crazy.
Dang. Yeah. Okay.
Right? Like, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
It's not quite reality.
No.
In Enumclaw?
Yeah. It's like a very like cozy small town like vibes.
Dang.
It's very Stars Hollow.
Oh, yeah. Stars Hollow. Yes.
But like,
but this is a bit much.
Yeah, this is too far.
There are a lot of rules and there are a lot of really weird things about Celebration. For example, they have leaves imported to the town in the autumn and put them on the ground.
Okay, I would love that. I would pay $2,000 for that.
It's cool, but it's weird. It's like you're living in a fake reality.
I guess.
And then think about being raised there and then you go out into the real world. Like, people walk everywhere there, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But it's like they're just being like raised in this weird reality.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I guess
real.
if you want somewhere like that, go to like a small town in Massachusetts or go to Enumclaw, Washington. Like,
yeah,
these societies exist in real life that aren't like weird movie sets.
Yeah, the thing that makes it weird is that it's like enforced. Yeah. There's a code, there's a committee, there are rules.
Yeah, it's definitely bonkers.
Yeah, I want an organic weird town to live in.
Do they import snow in the winter?
Yeah, fake snow falls every hour on the hour in the winter.
Okay, the leaves and the snow, and you get to be in Florida. Like this You're kind of selling me.
Oh my God.
I just won't talk to my neighbors. I'm going to tell everyone I'm a Pixar mom, and then no one will talk to me.
Yeah, they're going to spray paint your garage with like slut.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to tell because all of the garages have to be tucked into the backyard and unseen by the roads. So
That's fair.
it's
I don't
fine.
like when houses have a big ass garage right
Yeah,
in
I
front.
want a detached garage. Your blinds have to be white, and they have a fake ice rink that's just a huge white plastic sheet in the wintertime.
Can you skate on it?
Not really.
What?
But they do it every year.
They just put it out there?
They just put it out there. Yep.
That's weird. Like, why not have a real ice rink?
Exactly. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. Because they only have however much money left of everyone's $2,000 surcharge. I don't know. All right. I have some gossip about this town, and then we can talk about other Disney towns if we have time. Okay. So the Daily Mail, according to them and people that they interviewed, some people complain that Celebration's wholesome exterior hides a suffocatingly incestuous community, which is rife with divorce and where neighbors even resort to wife swapping to relieve the boredom.
It's like Desperate Housewives.
It is like Desperate Housewives. Yeah, this is essentially like living in a TV show if you
Yeah.
want to do that.
It's like Weeds.
Ooh, I fucking love that show. It is like Weeds. Little boxes on the hillside. That's exactly what it is. There's even a term used around town called celebration separation. A lot of British expats live in Celebration. They get there. I know it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't really know why.
This
British
is the
expats-
1950s America. We don't want any
No Brits. They moved to Celebration happily married, and a lot of them end up divorced. One of the guys in this article who was interviewed, he was like, yeah, it happened to me twice within, however many years of living in Celebration. He got married and divorced. And apparently there are a lot of swingers in this town.
I mean, hey, more power to ya.
It's like living in a TV show that is actually more like reality than reality is.
Yeah. Also, when we were home, my parents were telling me about they were like gossiping about the people they know that are swingers. Mm-hmm. And like just listening to them, I was like, it sounds like they're not swingers. It sounds like these guys are cheating on their wives and the wives stay with them. And it's much easier to tell people you're swingers than say your husband is cheating on you.
Oh no. Yeah,
This
that
could be some of that.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Basically, Celebration is just your normal town with a lot of rules. There are other Disney towns, like I said. Golden Oak is this grand neighborhood that's inside of Walt Disney. Okay. They have weird rules as well. For example, I only included 2, but they're only allowed to have rounded gutters, no straight gutters on their houses. And they have to have several hidden Mickeys on site.
Oh, God.
What?
Yeah, I would hate that. Mickey Mouse, I always thought Mickey Mouse was the ugliest motherfucker, and I could never understand why people like him.
I will never, if I ever have kids, let them wear character clothes. I freaking hate character clothes.
Yeah, my mom never
especially
let me
Disney.
wear character clothes, and
I'm
I
not
really
into
wanted
it.
to because I was obsessed with the 101 Dalmatians, and I was never allowed to do it. But now I understand why. But like, especially Mickey Mouse. Like, I hate Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. If anything, I'd rather them have the outline of Mickey Mouse. If it had
all
to be
ugly.
it's all ugly. It's all ugly. I will never be a Disney stan.
No. And like, I've had good times at Disneyland. Like, I'm not not hateful of Disney. I just don't understand like
I'm
an
skeptical
obsession.
of Disney. I've had good times at Disney. I think they were good. I don't know. I was young. But it's just, I'm skeptical of all these big corporations,
Kat said she's not hateful about Disney, but the 2 quotes I've written down are, I hate everyone who lives there, and I hate Mickey Mouse.
Whoa. Celebration is different than
Yeah.
Disney. It's just Disney as a neighborhood, not
Yeah.
a theme park.
I
Right.
mean, there are great Disney movies. Disneyland is fun. Like, I'm not someone who like hates Disneyland, but like, I don't understand like going hard in the paint for Disney. Like, just relax.
I think
It's not that good.
that's one of the reasons why I am skeptical.
Skeptical.
Like a stethoscope. It's because people like it so much. I'm like,
Yeah, it turns
what
me
kind
off.
of weird brainwashing is happening?
I
It's
think,
like
I think
going-
it's toxic nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going too hard for anything. Like Marvel fans, like Harry Potter fans, like I like all of these things. They're all good things, but can we, like Star Wars, can we just chill? Like
Just
it's
chill.
it's good. We don't have to go crazy. And maybe that makes me a boring person. Maybe that makes me a bitch, but like that's
I
my
know.
opinion.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, am I being mean by like being like that's not?
I
Not
know.
that it's not
And
cool, but
I
I'm like,
want-
just calm down.
I know. Like I want people to like things, but like
Yeah,
we
we
need
were-
to calm down.
We were just talking
You're being
about
too
how
loud.
it's not cool to not like things, and here
I
we
know.
are like, ugh, all these people like things so much.
I know. We're bitches. And like if you're a Disney, like seriously, don't listen to us. We're stupid. But like I don't know.
It's the obsession for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I said toxic nostalgia, I meant obsessive nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because they're not necessarily toxic, but it is obsessive.
I mean, there's some things that I like a lot, and you can make fun of me.
I like food a lot.
I like horses
Yeah, you do.
and Taylor Swift.
What do I like a lot that's not food? I was about to say sushi, but no, that's food. I don't know. I guess I need
Yeah.
something.
And the things I'm naming, like I'm not obsessive. I don't think neither of us are like obsessed with a fandom.
Maybe we're just depressed.
Maybe. I got pretty into Game of Thrones for a while, but like I was never like psycho.
I was pretty obsessed with Twilight in sixth grade.
But like sixth grade is a normal time to have those obsessions.
Right.
Like I thought vampires were real, and I thought that if I like daydreamed, like I had this whole imaginary life in my head where I was a vampire, and I had like a
Yeah.
whole persona, and I'd like disassociate and like live in my vampire like life. That's normal for a child.
Same. But now it's like, what do I guess drinking maybe is our thing.
No, don't say that.
Mom, if you're listening, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like what you guys like. Like, please don't listen to us. Please don't come for us. Like,
Right.
we really don't care.
We're
just
just
cynical,
joshing.
annoying people.
Exactly.
I'm just mad I don't have a passion. Maybe that's what it comes down to.
We're just bitter old bitches.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
No.
Say there's a like vampire Twilight themed celebration type town somewhere in Washington.
And that's Forks, Washington.
Yeah.
That exists.
Okay. You wouldn't want to live there?
No.
Okay.
I'd love to visit.
Okay.
We've been there.
I'm jealous. I'm from there and I've never been to Forks.
That's on you, honey.
I know.
Okay.
So
far
Forks is
away.
a planned community around Twilight?
No, but like
It became.
It was like this tiny little town that no one paid attention to, and then Twilight was set there, and so now like the whole town is Twilight themed because that's where they get all their money is tourism.
All right, I have one more point to make. There are other Disney towns as well that are not so grand. A lot of them are trailer parks, and residents live there for free or next to nothing with the expectation that they vote in favor of Disney for land ordinances that could
What?
affect their property.
That's like what the like what was that cult called? The all red cult, the Rush and the like bust in homeless people to like vote for their cult.
Yeah, probably.
I'm so
just
mad.
like it. I don't know the
I
name
can't
of that
remember the
cult.
name.
Many of the people who live
Rajneesh.
Rajneesh.
Yeah.
Okay. I have no idea what that even is.
It was in
but-
Oregon, and they like this cult started, and they like went into like this small town and wanted to like put like all their cult members on the city council, but like they didn't have enough cult members to like outvote the small town, so they would bus in homeless people and like give them like food for the day to like vote, and then they'd just like be like, fuck you, bye.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is like.
Yeah.
Except they do get rent free. A lot of people who live there are employed by Disney and work at the parks. And if Disney finds out that they voted against Disney and the ordinances, they do get fired.
Oh my, how is this legal?
It's Disney, baby. Yes. So I'm going to sum this up with one quote before I cite my sources. I'm going to cite my sources first because I want to end on this quote. Okay. I did crack.com, CNN, Guardian, the New York Times, of course, with that subscription, Daily Mail UK, and several YouTube videos on Celebration Florida, as well as the Bubble documentary, a documentary all about Celebration
You watched
Florida.
that?
I didn't watch it. I watched the trailer, though. And I got this quote and I was like, this perfectly sums it up.
He was on Tim Heidecker's podcast and made it
really?
sound like the most fascinating thing ever. He
I
sounds
wanna
like
watch
such
it.
a cool documentary filmmaker.
Yeah, it looks really cool, but it was $5 and I was out of time to watch it.
Let's
So I was
watch it
like,
sometime.
Yeah.
Someday, put it on the list. But what they said in their description of the documentary on Vimeo was murder, sex, Disney. This town has it all.
Nice.
I was like, hell yeah, that's perfect. But that's what I've got on Celebration Florida.
Oh my God, that was fascinating. Great job, Hayley.
Thank you.
Never heard of that. All right, well, we are going to take a break to hear from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Toon and Silver became houseless after selling all of their belongings in order to tour the United States and promote their soon-to-be released single, Rock Your Body.
They understood that though they had made the conscious decision to give up everything and be houseless in order to pursue their dreams, that is not the case for many houseless people today.
They thought of ways they could help others and realized that though they didn't have much, that they did have the talent to make and perform music.
They then decided to make the Tunes Creating Silver Linings tour, a tour where they could travel the United States working to make their dreams a reality and using their talents to raise money and help other houseless people around the country.
They wanted to go a step further and not only put together a concert, but donate a portion of their merchandise proceeds to charity, feed the local community, and invite others out to enjoy the music, eat, and donate as well.
Their next benefit concert will be in Memphis, Tennessee, and will be on July 31st this year from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Court Square Park downtown.
There will be live music featuring local Memphis talents, free food, raffles, and a variety of local vendors. Their single, Rock Your Body, features a groovy Daft Punk-inspired beat coupled with a throwback R&B hook, punchy MJ-like ad-libs, and some crazy fun animated rap verses. It will be available on all platforms starting September 10th, 2021.
And if you're not local to Memphis, don't worry, they'll be going to locations all around the country. Their next city after that is Tampa, Florida. And if you want to know if they're coming to your city, you can keep up with their socials. Those will be in the show notes, as well as a link to a clip from their newest single, Rock Your Body.
Go ahead and check it out.
Welcome everybody. I don't know how I'm going to follow Hayley's lesson because that was a really, really good one, but we're going to try.
Well, thank you. I was worried about how it was all thrown together, but
Oh my gosh, no, I was on the edge of my seat. That was a good one.
cool.
All right, well, the reality of humans someday landing on Mars is no longer an if, but a when, and a very soon when at that. Right now, NASA, the United Arab Emirates, China, and a few billionaire assholes are working really hard to get us to Mars, and they're getting close.
Meanwhile, we have all these other issues here on Earth.
Exactly. And so that was kind of my inspiration for this lesson. Like me, as someone who has never really been that interested in outer space, like watching all of this, I'm just kind of like, why?
Why though?
Why though? And like,
for what?
and for what? Like maybe that's an ignorant thing to say, but like I just don't get it. So I decided to research. We're gonna learn the why and the how.
Oh,
of
Jesus.
living on Mars.
I feel like I'm just gonna get mad.
No. You won't get mad. It's not. We're not gonna like go into it. Like we're just going over the why and the how.
Okay.
We're going to start with the why. And in order to understand the why, we have to learn a little bit about Mars itself. And when I was doing this research, I felt so stupid because I literally didn't know anything about Mars. Like
Ooh,
I didn't
know some
even
things about Mars.
Ooh, well, maybe you can help me out because I knew nothing. So I'm sorry if you're listening and you're like, I come off
screaming.
really ignorant, but we're going to go for it. So Mars is the 4th planet from the sun, and it's the 2nd smallest planet in our solar system. It's only larger than Mercury. It's named after the Roman god of war. I knew that part. And sometimes called the red planet because it's red. If you look with your naked eye at the sky, you can see a red star. That's Mars.
It's the red planet because it's red.
That's a fact, y'all. That's about all I knew. Like those last few sentences.
Okay.
And the thing that makes Mars a really good like place to explore, like first planet to go to, is because, you know, it's close to us. Mars ranges in distance from Earth. So it has like, I didn't put this in here right here, but like I think it's called like an elliptical. No. What's it called?
Like ovular?
No.
Elliptical orbit?
An elliptical orbit. That's the right word. So like Earth and Mars like range in distance from each other. Like they're moving and like sometimes sometimes they're close and sometimes they're far. So right now Mars is about 235.55 miles away, but at its 235.55 million miles away.
Okay, I was like, oh my God.
Like, let's go right now.
The time.
6-hour drive.
Like jumping fleas.
Yeah.
Just let me pop on over to Mars. Jesus, that's closer to Cincinnati.
Right. No.
Closer than Cincinnati is to me right now.
Over 200 million miles away.
I was like, why can't we see it though?
It's like right there.
It's
right out
literally
our
right
window.
there, Haley. It's
Haley,
red.
look with your eyes. It's red. Anyway, at its closest, it's only 33.9 million miles away. And in the grand scheme of things, that's like really close. Like if we compare, Earth is over 2 billion miles from Neptune. I mean, Neptune's the furthest planet, but like that's still really
but still,
fucking far.
everything, like we're so small.
Yeah. We're so small. And after Mars, the next closest planet is Jupiter, which is 400 million miles away. So Mars is looking pretty good, especially because Venus, which is the only planet that's closer to us than Mars, you cannot go there. It is boiling fucking hot and toxic as fuck. So we're not going there.
I know some people like that.
It's Claudia Severa's whole persona.
Claudia Severa. Boiling hot and toxic as fuck. That's so funny.
Just stay away. So compared to Venus, Mars is looking pretty good. It's like that safe swipe on Tinder.
Right.
And
have you heard that theory about Mars?
Which one?
About how humans were at Mars and then we migrated to Earth.
No.
After it became uninhabitable due to all the sandstorms.
Yeah, that's definitely fake.
How do you know?
Because like we have evidence of our evolution on Earth.
After we got here from Mars.
Oh my gosh. Shut up.
They found pop star microphones on the surface of Mars.
You know what? You guys need to see the TikTok video. I'm really disappointed, especially in you, Kat. I expected Alec to be a wet blanket.
I feel bad because the Mandela effect is like that kind of stuff is right up my alley. Like I usually am on board with that kind of thing, but like I just can't get on board with the Mandela effect. Like I think it's fun and like interesting to hear about, but
do you think that
humans have terrible memories?
Do you think that time travel could be real?
Yes.
So why would the Mandela effect not be real if people are going back and changing things?
Because I just don't think that those things would be visible in the Berenstain Bears and Britney Spears. Like,
but what if those are just weird examples?
Humans have terrible memory and we feed off of each other's terrible memory. Like, I think it's just like collective feeding off of each other for internet points.
All right, we'll fight more about this later tonight.
Okay.
This will actually be the fight.
All right. Anyway, the next good thing about Mars is they're similar to us. They're much like Earth. It's a terrestrial planet, so it's not gaseous. Like you can walk on the surface. And the surface is made up of minerals found here on Earth. There's silicon, oxygen, iron, magnesium, aluminum, calcium, potassium. And it has bananas. You can have bananas.
You can run marathons and eat bananas on Mars.
You can have some strong bones. We got calcium. We got iron. No anemia on Mars, bitch.
Iron Man. Oh, Hulk woman on Mars, baby. And don't they have ice or evidence of ice?
There's hella ice. So
Ice
it's
princess.
Ice princess. You can live out your Princess Elsa dreams. We have polar ice caps. We have deserts, valleys, craters. It's much like us. And because of its tilt and rotational axis, it has days and seasons very similar to Earth's.
Right, but don't get it twisted. There were never any humans there, and there never will be. Just kidding.
Well, there will be.
There will be, but there never were. It's completely impossible.
Yes, it is, Hayley. There were not humans on Mars.
If you listen to the latest Drinking the Kool-Aid podcast, our friends over there, they go through this whole theory on the one from last week. So.
Okay, well, maybe they can convince me, but as of now, I'm not convinced.
I'm just telling you one thing, and I'm like, why don't you believe me?
Mars has an atmosphere, but it's really thin compared to Earth, so it's only about 1% of Earth's atmospheric pressure, and it's also a lot smaller than Earth's. It has only about 15% of Earth's volume and 11% of its mass, so there's not much pressure, and there's like much less gravity.
Earth is like Mars. Stop trying to make vegetation happen. It's not gonna happen.
What?
Because it's smaller than us and has less of an atmosphere.
It could have vegetation.
Does it?
Not yet, but it's a great place for vegetation.
Okay.
It's a good place. It has 38% of Earth's gravity, though, so like stuff would really have to be stuck down into the soil. Like you'd have to have some good roots to not float away.
To not lose yourself.
Yeah. There's no liquid water on Mars. It probably could exist for like very short periods at the lowest elevations, but all the water on Mars is ice, and it has a shit ton of ice. It has 2 polar ice caps. It has a South Pole and a North Pole, just like Earth. The solar polar ice cap is so big that if it melted, there'd be enough water to cover the surface of the entire planet with a depth of 11 meters. And there is evidence that liquid water has existed on Mars in the past, which does suggest the possibility that there was life on Mars.
But if Kat said
not
it's
human,
impossible,
not
then
human
it's
life.
Impossible.
I'm just curious. So you thought there were people on Mars, and then how do we have like fossil evidence of human evolution on Earth?
I didn't say there were people on Earth. I said there's a theory that some people came to Earth from Mars because in, what is it? The CIA's Project Starfall or Star something, where they had people who could remote view or thought that they could remote view things. And they did tests on people where they like had a piece of paper that had certain coordinates or a place and time, and they didn't show them, or I don't know. It was a whole thing.
You
remote
sound crazy.
Viewing. I know I sound crazy, but Drinking the Kool-Aid explained it really well. It was a real thing. The CIA has documents on it. And essentially, this guy says that he remote viewed Mars, but he didn't know that he was being, quote unquote, sent to Mars. And that, okay, the way your eyes are going right now, I'm not even going to keep talking. Just
what if we had a sound effect that was like, coo, 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 coo.
If you could hear my eye roll, that's what it would sound like. I'm sorry, Hayley. I'm sure
your mind is so closed right now. I'm honestly offended.
I know. I'm very cynical right now, but like I also like I'm sure if I listened to this episode, I'd be hooked. I'd be gullible. But
I just like that Hayley's like rebuttals are like going deeper into
crazy.
Like, oh, you don't think there were people on Mars? Well, have you heard about the guy that remote viewed Mars? Because listen to yourself, Kat.
Okay, most likely, no, people didn't come from Mars, but I'm saying there is
most likely
there is a theory. I don't know everything over the course of everything. I mean, small part.
My thing, and this is my stupid coming out, but like I don't understand how life got on Earth, like in the form of like bacteria, like
That's
where,
what I'm saying.
like maybe bacteria came over from Mars, like on a meteor.
What if they're like,
but not humans?
What if they're like, we need to send some stuff to Earth so that something can keep going while we die from the sandstorms on Mars?
Sure, but it wasn't humans. It was like bacteria.
Amino acids. and
Amino
stuff, yeah.
acids, yeah.
That's actually
in the primordial soup.
Or what if there were humans on Earth at the same time there were humans on Mars?
Yeah, I mean,
And then they came over.
No.
Why not?
Because there weren't. Like, we have evidence that there weren't.
Oh, you've been to Mars?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In this research that took a number of hours.
I'm just being the devil's advocate here, being like,
You're being the devil's advocate for something insane.
You're being the QAnon advocate, not. Just kidding.
Okay, I'll just shut up. You guys haven't been hearing me out.
Well, there could have been life on Mars. We have evidence that there's been liquid water there, which means the atmosphere was probably warmer at some point and, could sustain life. There are tracks cut into the surface of Mars that look a whole lot like water erosion. So we think that there was water there, and there's been minerals found that indicate the presence of liquid water. There's also evidence of erosion that, combined with the presence of salt in the erosion and the way this erosion looks, makes scientists think that there was also once an ocean on Mars. So more evidence that there could have been life there. And it was a pretty big ocean. And, all of that means, plus other things that I'm not even getting into, Mars was at one time warmer and probably had a thicker atmosphere that was capable of sustaining life. So there could have been life on Mars in the past.
But there wasn't.
What? That's not what I'm saying, Hayley. I'm saying that humans did not come from Mars.
I'm just joshing around. Goodness.
Sorry,
Sensitive
Alec and I
today.
already got in a fight over this lesson once today, so I'm ready to fight someone else about it.
I can tell.
Anyway, back to your theory. So around
It's not
the time,
my theory. Let the record show.
around the time that life began on Earth, Mars was going through a serious climate change that, if it had life, could have wiped out all the life. So maybe amino acids and the building blocks of life were sent over here purposely or on a meteor. I don't know.
God did it.
God, Sky Daddy, you name it. I don't know. But basically, Mars shut down, and then that's when Earth kind of started to become more like the Earth we know.
Maybe we time traveled back to the existence of man on Mars, sent the amino acids from this conversation right now, and made sure that life was possible on Earth.
Maybe.
Due
So
to this lesson.
So we clearly have a lot of questions, and scientists do too. And scientists are interested in going to Mars to, study its history, see if life was there, and answer some of these questions and see what this arch of Mars, going from an environment that could sustain life to not, how this can relate to Earth and how we can kind of see Earth's future by examining evidence on Mars. Also, if there is evidence of life on Mars, that tells us that life is not unique to Earth, and that if another planet in just our solar system has sustained life, that definitely means that there's more life out there. So it can kind of shift a lot of people's whole view on this universe and the meaning of life. We aren't alone. If there's evidence of life on Mars, we're not alone anymore. Also, if we were to go on Mars, a ton of new technology will have to be developed. And it's just kind of an excuse to develop new technology. For example, sending information back and forth, how to reside on this surface with very little gravity, all kinds of things. And this could lead to new inventions that could be used by everyday people. So there's huge commercial payoffs to this research. It's not just to go to Mars, it's also to fund new technology.
Do you know how long it would take to get there right now? What it would look like with the technology we have?
Yeah, so that's later on, but the goal of NASA is to get there in the 2030s.
Wow.
So super soon.
I thought NASA stopped going to space and they stopped funding NASA.
No.
Oh, they definitely stopped something. I remember that.
Didn't Trump want to defund NASA, or he
They
wanted
have
the
less-
Space Force?
I think they have less funding for the space launches, and so that's why they're teaming up with SpaceX and those private companies.
Oh.
Yeah.
But all the
Okay.
research is still being done by NASA.
And Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are teaming up with NASA and like giving them a lot of money and like also funding these types. Like Elon Musk is like a huge proponent of going to Mars. Like he's like the guy that's probably going to make it happen.
He wants to be buried there, right?
Oh God, I did not know that, but I would not be surprised. So among other reasons, scientists are also looking into the possibility of space mining. So this idea that, you know, Earth's resources are wearing thin and we can go get minerals that are rare on Earth from other planets and asteroids. And Mars has a lot of minerals. And then, of course, there's also space tourism. As we just saw with fucking Jeff Bezos, there's a lot of money to be made off people who want to go up into space. And if they can explore Mars, even better.
I hate it here.
Go to Mars. You can. Ultimately, it probably is a money-making venture, but like it really, I think, comes back down to curiosity. Like we're curious if we're the only people here. We're curious about what kind of future could exist on Earth and off of Earth if we were to go explore other planets. And scientists are working on figuring those things out. NASA sent 5 rovers to Mars. There's the Sojourner, the Spirit, the Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance. And you can go online. I was looking today at photos taken by the rovers of the surface of Mars, and it was pretty cool.
I want them so badly to Photoshop like someone or something in the picture that they put online that's really hard to see, of just like doing the sorority squat, like throwing the peace sign.
Maybe I'm like
duck lips.
misremembering, but didn't like on an April Fool's Day they like Photoshop in an alien or something on like one of the Mars rovers pictures?
That sounds familiar. Yeah. How long did it take for the rover to get there? Like, I'm just so curious how long.
I think it takes about 6 to 9 months.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so it takes a long time, and they've been sending, like they didn't send them all out all at once. Like they've been doing it. And so they were able to figure it out, but getting humans there is going to be a lot harder than sending a robot.
If I made the Mars rover, I feel like I would feel like I was sending my pet to space. I'd be like, okay, Roby buddy.
It is hard.
Good luck.
And they look kind of cute.
They do look cute. Yeah. Oh my God. I want a rover for my house. I guess that's kind of like what our Roomba is. It has a name and everything.
What's your Roomba's name?
Cordy.
Cordy? What? Not Courtney, just Cordy?
Cordy. Yeah. Because the brand is something cord or something. It's like an Amazon brand or some shit like that.
That's
so we
funny.
started calling him Cordy. And when he's done, Tommy will be like, all right, you did good, Cordy.
I want a Roomba.
So lame. Yeah, it's really handy with all
you
the
guys
cat
bring
litter.
the cats back and forth. Bring your Roomba back and forth.
Right. We should do that, truly.
So like I said a second ago, NASA hopes to send humans to Mars as early as the 2030s. Elon Musk wants to do it even sooner. He is confident that a mission can take place in 2026. But he said, quote, "It'll be tough sledding over there. And honestly, a bunch of people will probably die in the beginning." So that's cool.
That's true. That sounds accurate.
Yeah, it sounds accurate. And I'm sure many people will be willing to be guinea pigs in this.
Yeah.
And, you know, just getting to Mars, like, will be extremely difficult. Like, if we're not even thinking about what it's like to live there, it's going to be a tough journey. So there's only a really small window of time where we can go. Because of this elliptical orbit, Mars and Earth are only close to travel between, like, for a very short amount of time. And at their closest, the time travel will take about 6 to 9 months. That's a lot of time on the spacecraft. They'll need a lot of provisions, and traveling to the moon only takes like 2 to 3 days. And so there's like a space station in the middle where they can stop and get extra provisions or like emergency, whatever, if they need it, or someone from Earth can come help them. That would not be the case if they were flying to Mars. Like they would be screwed if anything went wrong.
That's so freaky.
Yeah. And there would obviously be a lot of risks on this trip, but the biggest risk would be solar flares. So solar flares are basically like explosions from the sun, and it's the most powerful type of explosion in the solar system, equivalent to 100 million hydrogen bombs. And on Earth, we're protected.
Sorry, I was just thinking about Jawa in the Patreon lesson telling us about how he got nervous diarrhea in 2016 when Donald Trump got elected. I was thinking of that being a solar flare.
Imagine being an astronaut and having nervous diarrhea in your spacesuit.
I could never be an astronaut. I'm like, we were just talking about this today. My pelvic floor is not strong enough. I constantly piss myself.
Like a Chipotle diarrhea times 10, but like you're just shitting in your spacesuit and your tummy hurts.
Oh my God. I'd be like, thank God, because it's so cold out here. I'm warm now.
True. Oh my God. But basically, solar flares are bad, and we don't have them on Earth because we have a magnetic field that shields us. But like, you don't have that in outer space, so you'd be super vulnerable. You're out in the open. If hit by that kind of radiation, astronauts would not last more than a couple of days. And it's a terrible way to die by radiation poisoning.
They should just put some magnets on the outside of the ship.
Easy.
Yeah, just
Easy.
Make your own magnetic field. I don't
understand what a magnetic field is, but I do think it's not that.
It's a field of magnets. I don't know how much more basic I can make it.
We just print up like a picture of a football field and cover it in magnets and just stick it to the ship.
There you go. That's all you need.
That's what it is.
I don't know why they complicate things. They're just trying to get more money.
Yeah. I mean, Earth is flat, so this is all fake anyway.
Earth is hollow.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you again. I think it's flat.
And say that it's flat. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. After our contract is up for this podcast, I'm done.
Our contract.
With our lawyer, Georgia the dog.
George Biden.
Yeah.
George Biden.
Okay, well, when astronauts are going to the moon, they kind of just take their chances because it doesn't take that long to get to the moon. And also, scientists on Earth can kind of monitor the sun and they can kind of tell when a solar flare is coming. But going to Mars takes a lot longer, so you're increasing your odds of getting hit. And also, part of the journey will take place on the other side of the sun. So scientists on Earth can't see the other side of the sun, so they couldn't give them a warning. They couldn't see a solar flare building up. They'd just kind of they'd have no warning. So there's no time to hide.
They should just send out a bunch of massive mirrors to float in orbit space so that we can use a mirror system to see the other side of the sun.
That's a good idea.
I have it all figured out, clearly.
Get NASA on the phone because we got a new scientist for
Somebody call NASA. She's got it all figured out.
If astronauts did have a warning, they could potentially hide behind the water tanks on the spacecraft, and that could maybe protect them from enough radiation where they could be okay. But again, on the other side of the sun, that's not really a possibility. And if they get past the solar flares and all the other obstacles and manage to land, landing raises a whole nother set of problems. So scientists have been able to land a 1-ton craft on Mars, but one holding humans would probably weigh about 10 tons. Something of that size would have to land with extreme precision, especially in a low atmospheric pressure, low gravity environment. And Mars is not just smooth. It has mountains, hills, rocks. You'd have to be really careful where you're going to land.
Start telling curvy girls be like, girl, shaped like Mars.
Oh no. That's not curvy. That just sounds like my
sharp.
thighs right now, covered in cellulite. They got craters.
There's nothing wrong with craters.
No,
we need to start
there's
celebrating
nothing wrong
craters.
with that.
Girl, you look like Mars. You're hot.
And that's a compliment.
You got cellulite.
You're orange and you have cellulite.
That's like me before I wash off the fake tan. Orange with cellulite.
Hey, it happens. Put fake tan on my legs today. Haven't washed it off. So
Nice.
it is nice. Anyway, once you made it through space, you've landed on Mars. Now there are other challenges. The atmosphere on Mars is mainly carbon dioxide, which is not good for people. And the temperatures are well below zero, sometimes fluctuating as much as 170 degrees within 24 hours. So you could not take off your spacesuit on Mars. You would be stuck in it. And once you get from Mars, you are free from the solar flares, but you are not free from radiation. Because Mars doesn't have much of an atmosphere and it doesn't have a global magnetic shield, the surface is really vulnerable to solar and cosmic radiation. Plus, the climate is a huge issue. Mars has massive storms, like these huge storms, and it doesn't get rain. So the surface is just like this really dry, really fine dust. And so when there's a big storm, it kicks up all the dust and creates these huge dust storms. And this happens every summer. So every about 26 months, there's these massive storms. The dust particles are so fine that they get caught in the atmosphere. And they basically cover the outside of the planet, causing complete darkness. And this darkness can sometimes last for months.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I would 100,000% get depressed.
Oh, yeah. You would definitely get depressed. And like this is dangerous not just because of depression, but because scientists on Mars will have to create their own energy and their own power. And the best way to do this in outer space is usually with solar panels. But if you're confined to darkness, the solar panels will not generate any power. And so astronauts would quickly and swiftly freeze to death in one of these storms.
Ooh, we're looking at a picture of Mars right now on the rover, and it's so weird. It looks like that could be in a desert in the United States.
It does. Yeah, like Mars really is, like, aside from its atmosphere, it's very, very similar to Earth. So it's been suggested that astronauts could use alternative sources of power, and they can use Mars dust to their advantage. Because building materials are heavy to travel with, astronauts will need to use materials on Mars in order to build a shelter. They could line their shelters with sandbags full of Mars dust to protect them from radiation, or they could find temporary shelter in caverns made by old lava tubes. So underneath the surface of Mars, there's like these caves that they could hide in. Homes could be built with 3D printers using space dust, and living underground is also a possibility. If you live 9 feet below the surface, that could protect you enough from radiation to be okay. Bricks could be made out of Martian soil, and structures could be built with them. And another answer might be glass domes. So I feel like if you look at pictures of like what society would look like on Mars, like you see these glass domes.
Yeah.
And that could be possible because Mars has the materials on it like needed to create glass, plastic, and metal.
This is so wild to even think about. I love it and I hate it.
No,
I
it's
don't know how
creepy.
to feel about it.
It's very weird. And like we're talking about it now, like it could be in, you know, possibly in our
Soon.
lifetime where
Yeah.
we'll see a colonization on Mars. Most likely, though, the first trip to Mars, astronauts will need to stay in their spacecrafts. So there's this group called the Mars Society, which is a group formed to advocate for exploring Mars, and it's proposed its Mars Direct plan. And in this plan, they suggest sending these habitats, they call them HABs, to Mars that can be lived in once humans arrive. So I think their idea is kind of like send these structures there before the humans get there, and then they can be easily erected and you can live in them. And they kind of like look like these like domes, and they can be hooked together with tubes so astronauts can go around in between them. But like this would be more of a short-term solution. But once long-term stay is possible, astronauts will have to produce their own food, water, and oxygen. And all of these things are possible to produce on Mars. So anything that they grow on Mars would have to grow well in a high altitude, low nutrient environment. And NASA has been supporting research for years where they're growing algae in the Nevada desert because it has conditions very similar to those on Mars. And though this research is in its pretty early stages, it's looking good. Like the algae is growing in the desert.
I feel like algae is a magical plant.
It really is. Like I wouldn't want to eat it, but it's good.
Yeah, and it does a bunch of stuff. Like I have no anecdotal notes to support that statement, but I just feel like I've heard things.
Yeah, me too. It rings a bell.
Yeah.
And it is a great source of nutrients. Like you can live pretty well with like algae as a major part of your diet. And the thing it does really well is create oxygen.
Oh, yeah, we need oxygen.
Mm-hmm. We do need oxygen. And, you know, Mars has all this carbon dioxide, which is great for plants, but we need plants to give us oxygen. The soil on Mars can potentially support other crops. So it has all the necessary minerals. It's super mineral rich, but the problem is it doesn't have any organic material, like biodegraded plants and animals. But there are crops that do well in high mineral, like low organic soil, plants such as beans, asparagus, and potatoes. And then as for water, scientists can get water from ice that already exists on Mars. Of course, melting ice takes a lot of energy, and you have to be somewhere where ice is. So you'd have to think about the distribution of ice when setting up your base camp. So with our technology right now, we can probably solve most of these problems.
But at what cost? And what energy level will it take to do all that?
A lot, but it's possible. However, right now, the biggest challenge is getting astronauts back to Earth. You don't want a one-way ticket to Mars. Rocket fuel is super heavy, and with our current technology, we cannot bring enough rocket fuel to Mars to launch ourselves back. One solution would be to make fuel on Mars. It's been proposed that maybe we could do that by combining hydrogen and oxygen molecules found in the water on Mars, but we're not quite sure how to do that yet, but scientists are working on it. There's a lot of challenges, and total colonization of Mars is a long way on the future, but we are thinking about it. In order to colonize Mars, we would have to terraform the planet. And in other words, that means to make it more Earth-like. And Elon Musk, of course, has a long-term vision of building, I struggled with this word before already. I literally practiced it. Habitable.
Habitable.
Thank you.
I was like, yeah, that sounded great.
It's okay. Elon Musk has a long-term vision of building habitable bubbles on Mars's surface that will eventually encompass the whole planet.
Ooh, Dome City.
Dome City, yes. Living under the dome.
Dome City, bitch. Dome City, bitch.
Oh my God, can we listen to Tyga on the way home?
Yes, we have to.
Thank God. He's also suggested nuking the poles, and this would hopefully release enough greenhouse gas to warm the planet.
Aliens watching that would be like, oh my God, here they go again.
Yeah.
They're nuking shit. They're going after Mars now?
Yeah,
What
I know.
the hell?
I love that the idea is to nuke it.
Yeah, because that will not create more problems
I
to make
mean,
it habitable.
They do
Habitable?
need to warm it. So I don't know. And it's already covered in radiation. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea. I'm not a scientist. He's also talked about installing giant solar mirrors for heat because Mars is really fucking cold. You would need to heat it up.
I said that.
You did, actually. Yeah. Well, your mirror idea was to observe the sun.
But I did not say that.
Giant mirrors nonetheless. It's also been thought about that we could import methane and ammonia to initiate the greenhouse effect, make it warmer. Maybe that would work.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I know nothing.
I would just this lesson just left me more confused, honestly.
Yeah. I'm simply a hoe for science. I do not know for science.
I'm a hoe for science, not a no for science. Yeah. That's a no with a K.
More like a hoe for scientists.
Yeah, if you're a scientist, please help. Anyway, this kind of massive, altering this planet, for our consumption is a long way in the future. So in the meantime, we should probably focus on saving our own planet. But if we were to colonize Mars, what would it be like? First of all, you'd want a base near the northern latitudes because the southern half is pointed away from the sun and has much colder winters and much hotter summers. So you don't want to fucking be there. And the northern hemisphere, you would have 7 months of spring, 6 months of summer, about 5 months of fall, and 4 months of winter. A year on Mars is about 1.88 times that of an Earth year, and the days are a little more than 24 hours, which that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I don't like spring though. So 7 months of spring seems like a lot.
Does.
I like every other season. But spring.
Yeah, but on Mars, spring is still in the minus degrees. It's still really fucking cold. And then summer is a dust storm season. So you don't want that either.
That's true.
You want that spring to last.
Sounds
baby.
like all downsides so far.
It does. It sounds pretty terrible. So the temperature ranges from minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit to 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. So the summer temp is
At
actually not so
maximum?
bad at maximum.
Oh my God.
But temps can get as low as minus 195 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh no.
So super cold, freezing.
At what point does glass break?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
You probably have to have like some kind of special glass.
Yeah.
Transmitting messages to and from Earth from Mars takes about 15 minutes. So you probably wouldn't be able to Skype or video chat. It would probably just be written messages. And at night, you would see the 2 moons. There's Deimos and Phobos, and obviously a lot of stars because Mars does not have light pollution. During the day, the sky has an orange tint because of all the dust, but on the area directly around the sun, like the sun has like a halo of blue sky.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. And Mars has a lot of natural beauty, so there'd probably be parks established. It has the Olympus Mons, which is the tallest volcano in our solar system.
Not to be confused with the Pubis Mons.
The Mons Pubis.
Which is the tallest volcano on the female body.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. They're very different. It has the Valles Marineris. The marinara, which is
Sounds amazing.
it does. I could go for some marinara.
Me too. Ooh. Should we stop at Kroger and get mozzarella sticks?
We have to stop at Kroger anyway to get White Claw.
Hell yeah,
Hell
let's
yeah.
do it. Snocks.
Snocks. The Valley Marinara is like a giant system of valleys. They range about the distance of the United States from coast to coast.
Wow.
Very
How
big.
close is it to the whatever pubis? Vaughn's pubis? Is that what it was?
The Mons Pubis is the one on the woman.
I know, but I
The
thought
Olympus
it was
Mons.
Olympus Mons.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I did not look at a map. And then you have
Mars is a woman.
Then you have Viking landers, which are the polar ice caps, and they sometimes get dry ice snowfall. So that's crazy. And that's what it would look like to live on Mars. That's the why and the how.
Wow. And
Ooh,
how. Wow, that really does. I'm going to have either nightmares or amazing dreams tonight thinking about life on Mars.
Good. I hope that they're amazing.
Me too.
My sources are mars.nasa.gov, 9planets.org, Wikipedia, esa.int, brookings.edu, republicworld.com, usatoday.com, bloomberg.com, cnet.com, and space.com. And that was my lesson. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked this, please rate, review, and subscribe. Join us on Patreon, follow us on social media, and most importantly, tell a friend. Thank you for everything. Thank you for listening. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.